Hello everyone, welcome back. I am glad you're here. So quick video today. I've gotten this question, gosh, it has to be 100 times. It seems to be a pretty prolific issue that is happening with these Tisas guns. And so I wanted to make a video just to talk about sort of my theory on what I think is going on with this issue people keep bringing up. And hopefully it helps. Now, I can't prove definitively this is absolutely what's happening. This is pretty much a guess because I only have a sample size of 2. However, the 2 that I've seen this issue emerge on that people are asking about, the thing that I'm about to recommend to you has fixed them both immediately. So, what I'm being messaged, emailed about constantly, I mean, I'm not joking, it's more than 100 messages, it's got to be, is people are saying their Tisas guns are locking back mid-fire, just like they're shooting and the slide locks back. And, with the mag not empty. And lots of theories floating around out there about what it is, but there's one constant thing that I have observed. This issue does not happen on Parkerized guns. This issue, again, I'm not saying definitively, I'm just saying what I have observed. It only happens on the cerakoted Tisas guns. So here's what I think is going on. I'm going to go ahead and strip the pistol down. So basically, Cerakote, when done properly, should be very thin. It should not be glopped on and just hosed on the pistol. But, the thing you got to realize is, even though I love Tisas, I am an absolute fanboy for Tisas. The reality is these are still $300 guns, right? $400 in some cases. And, they're factory made, they're mass produced. You're going to have more mistakes than you would, say, from a custom shop. The fact that I have to say this is hilarious, but some people don't realize it. And so, these are the sort of mistakes you would expect, the sort of problems you would expect on a mass-produced factory gun. Now, I do think Tisas is going to sort it out eventually, but in the meantime, I do think they're running into a problem. So here's what I think the issue is. They're spraying Cerakote on these guns way too thick in some areas. And you can see this, there's a few indicators of this. One is where you can almost take your fingernail and just scrape it off. It's just too thick and it never cured properly. Or maybe they didn't do several coats. Maybe they just hosed it on in one big thick coat. I don't know. I'm not saying definitively, again, but this is just what I suspect. But another big indicator where it's too thick is right here on the slide stop pin. Okay, so what I have seen on 2 different guns, my Tisas that I got that was cerakoted, and then my buddy's, brand new, same thing. You could just run the slide back with no magazine in it, and that thing would lock back. And we're like, does this thing have a ghost? What is going on right now? And here's what I think is going on. Basically, there's too much Cerakote on the slide stop pin, and it's increasing the diameter to where, it's causing a stoppage. So here's what's happening. If you just take your barrel out, stick the slide stop pin in, and this is how the gun works, right? When it recoils, the gun does this, okay? Now, if we flip to the other side, you can see that there has to be some clearance between the pin and the front of the lug on the barrel, okay? Now, I just want you to imagine this pin is covered in Cerakote, and now the clearance, the tolerance of a few thousandths that's required on that pin is gone. Now it's in contact. So what happens is, this is what it looks like when it's in lockup. The gun fires, the slide reciprocates to the rear, barrel unlocks, and as it's going back forward, which way might, if this was acting like a brake pad, if the pin was acting like a brake pad, which way would it spin when it's returning to battery? And you can very simply illustrate this if I just rotate it like this. That's what's happening. As it's returning to battery, the pin is being rotated by the Cerakote, the excess Cerakote coming in contact with the front of the lugs and rotating the slide stop pin up and thereby locking the slide open. Now, this happened to mine, and simply all I did was take some 1000 grit sandpaper, hold it like this, and just spin it about 10 times just to knock down that cerakote. This happened to my buddies. He got his brand new and literally out of the box, pulled the slide back, it locked to the rear. Same issue. Now, it's also really important that you properly lubricate your link and the pin itself, but lube will not solve this problem. The problem is the cerakote has made the pin too large a diameter, and this problem is exacerbated when the gun is dry. It acts like a brake pad against the front of these lugs. So again, very small sample size on my part, but 2 for 2, that fixed the issue. It went away forever, and I haven't seen this problem re-emerge on either of our guns. A lot of the people who have messaged me, and I've asked this question, 0 have said theirs was Parkerized. The Parkerized guns don't have this problem, and why is that? Well, the Parkerizing on these small parts is extremely thin, so you don't really have an increased diameter. When it gets dry, it doesn't get gummy like that cerakote does when it's, coated on too thick. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. So I would recommend, if you're having this issue, take your gun apart and just, put your slide stop pin in the barrel like that and just see how much clearance does it have away from that barrel lug. There should be clearance. If it's rubbing and touching and scraping on those lugs, I would almost guarantee you that's your problem. So just take some 1000 grit, spin that pin in the sandpaper about 10 times and knock it down, lube it up, try again. I'll bet you that'll solve your problem. So now I would like if Tisas would fix the problem, but I'm not gonna complain too much because they're still turning out what I think is the best 1911 out there in the factory world. Just hard stop. Not even for the price, just in the factory category of 1911s, I still think they're the best. Will I accept little problems like this? Absolutely. Easy fixes. But what I do see is it's confusing a lot of people. And I don't think it's magazine related. I don't think it's a problem with the slide stop pins. I'm not seeing that at all. I really think if your gun's cerakoted, I bet you that's the problem. So there you go. Short video. Try it out. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think, if that helped your situation out, and hopefully that will alleviate some issues you guys are having. All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you on the next one.